He started coding at 12, built his first internet business at the age of 14, and ended up launching Solana's very first wallet. Solflare has 4 billion monthly active users, holding more than $16 billion in digital assets. The Solana wallet managed to establish an extremely positive brand, is known for valuing safety exceptionally high, and grew to become one of the largest companies on Solana by headcount. Vidor, I heard the reason you first bought Bitcoin was because you had money stuck in a payment processor or something from one of your previous businesses.
That's right.
Do you recall the feeling at that moment when you realized that Bitcoin can help you out of your misery and when you discovered it? What did you think? Did you believe like, okay, this is like world-changing technology, or do you just thought, okay, this is going to help me to solve my little problem that I have right now?
So honestly, it helped me solve my problem that I had at the time, which was I got some stuck money here and I couldn't do anything with that money. So the only thing I could do with I think it was a Skrill or Moneybooker's account is go to some like random IRC chat room and find people selling Bitcoin. And I was like, okay, let me exchange this something that I cannot use to maybe another something that I cannot use, but hey, it's cool. And the actual feeling of the whole purpose and the whole technological background came a bit later.
Okay, so you didn't fall for the whole Bitcoin idea back then when you first saw it?
I mean,
because there were a lot of people that were like highly convinced that this is going to change the world early on.
But at the time, those were crazy people. Yeah, as we are crazy people right now.
Okay, so you say you weren't one of them.
It solved my problem and it opened the door towards looking at the technology that it was built on. Because when you think about it in depth, it's like putting together computer science concepts that have never been put together before.
Yeah.
And that was sort of the wow moment for me. Because back then I was also like developing stuff into computer science, software engineering, and putting these concepts together that was the wow moment for me.
You started very early to code and consider working in tech. You actually had your first businesses very early. I saw that you started coding at 12. That's very impressive.
Yeah.
Is that because you didn't have any friends?
Let me see. Actually, one of my earliest childhood friends, who was at the time a tad more successful than me in school, got accepted into this like some computer course, something. And they all got a CD with some software. And that software was, I don't know if you remember, Macromedia Flash, Macromedia Dreamviewer, maybe some Photoshop. And he gave me that CD. It's like a compact disc, like the round thing that you put in a computer that you click and it goes back in. For all the viewers that are sort of born after whatever year. And I started actually making Macromedia Flash video games when I was like 12, and like small websites using Macromedia Dreamviewer when I was roughly that age. So I would say friendship brought me into all of this.
Damn. Good answer. I think everyone on Solana really knows about Solflare, honestly, by now. You guys are the first Solana wallet. You've been around since ever. And your odds are fairly large in terms of users and team and everything. So you're very loud. Everyone knows Solflare. But not everyone knows the people behind it. Not everyone knows Vidor. So without going too much into your private life, who's Vidor outside of Solflare? Because when you hear Vidor, right now everyone thinks Solflare. Do you have a life?
I do have a life. And I would say that life shifted over time. I was always very competitive, very ambitious, always in deep love with technology, without even knowing what essentially technology brings to humanity. And I was always like looking at what's the sort of newest, fastest, like most recent like technological finding, and sort of looking into that essentially. So essentially like a very critical technologist with, to your previous question, a very healthy circle of friends. It's a familiar concept.
Yeah, we understand. Okay, so do you have any hobbies?
I think my job is my hobby at the same time. A hobby is just something you do in your free time that sort of gives you drive and keeps you excited.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to find anything that keeps me more alive, more excited, and more passionate about the future than the work that I'm doing right now. So you could say there's like a big overlap between the two.
Yeah, I guess that's part of the reason why Solflare is successful, because people like you're not the only co-founder, but people like you devoted their life to the company. Did that change over time?
I think that's essentially right. It took some getting used to in terms of sort of my personal evolution of, okay, now you're exploring tech, now you're building tech, now you're leading a company. And that had some, I went through that learning. But at the end of the day, I think we're devoted to doing what we're doing. We do see that we're in a unique opportunity that hasn't been presented to the world in hundreds of years, which is essentially rebuilding a core part of humanity from like first principles. Like, when was the last time someone had the opportunity to like rebuild finance? That didn't happen for 100 years because that opportunity was exclusively reserved for countries, governments, and sort of like very, very sort of small secluded circles. But now we're in this like space of open finance where it's like free for all. And this is something that like keeps the drive going, and our work, we see the impact of our work every day.
How does a day look like for you right now? Like these days, because you're co-founder and CEO of Solflare, how does a normal day look like?
So I wake up. I obviously don't exercise as much as you do. Take less steroids as well, significantly less.
Yeah, don't take that.
Wake up around 8 a.m. Do some stuff around the house, get to work, go through my emails, go through Slack, go through Twitter. Probably have a lot of meetings every day, both internal and external. I think a part of my job is being able to balance a lot of very disconnected stuff that seem disconnected, but at the end of the day make like a really whole picture. So imagine yourself having a day where you have a call with legal, a call with finance, a call with human resources, a call with engineering, a call with product, and a call with, marketing. And then at the end of the day, needing to go to sleep thinking that you actually did anything. This feeling very often results in you feeling that you didn't do anything useful, but as time goes, as you sort of invest more of your time, all of that gluing together of all of those compounds. So you essentially see the result of your work. Obviously, this shifted over time because early on it was more engineering heavy, and then later it was more than product heavy, and then like big picture heavy.
So right now it's more big picture.
Mostly big picture, yes.
A lot of useless stuff.
Well, depends who looks at it.
Okay.
Or how you perceive the purpose or the value of the thing that you're doing. And as I told you, like for a long time, you think that you're useless, but then it turns out you're not really that useless.
Could you leave the bus and the bus keeps driving right now?
I think we're still very early for that to happen.
Okay.
Although that's sort of the end state of every company to sort of optimize to the extent where someone leaves and everything keeps on rolling. I don't think we're still at that point yet.
Simon says, say just.
Just.
Simon says, say use.
Use.
Simon says, say backpack.
Solflare.
Okay, next step. So you started coding at 12.
Yeah.
And by 14, you were running your own web hosting company, Micro Hosting.
Micro, yes. It's a bad Serbian spelling of micro.
What else is micro about you?
What else?
Let's talk about Counter-Strike.
Let's talk about Counter-Strike.
Are you a terrorist?
Oh, wow. So based on the amount of compliance work that I do, interacting with regulated entities who've all done their due diligence on myself and the company, for their claims, I believe that I'm not a terrorist per what they see and they say.
You built fake game servers that inflated player counts to trick people into joining the server on Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
And now you run a wallet where people store their money. Should we be concerned?
So I would frame the former in a way that I was like a great growth hacker in a space where growth hacking didn't exist. And we invented something that drove people to a place where they could sort of like play games together. And I would also frame it in a way that we employed a lot of create engineering, or rather reverse engineering of the Half-Life game engine, so that we created those fake servers that sort of redirected people to servers where they can play with actual humans.
Okay.
Yeah. Does it evolve into, does the sort of overall storytelling narrative of what you said, like flow into building a self-custodial wallet on probably the fastest blockchain to date? I would say, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ingenuity to it, and a lot of skills that have been gathered there sort of apply to the business right now.
It was the same team back then, like similar people that are right now?
Yeah, there's that was back then. It was just so the fake game servers that we built.
Philip was included?
No, it was not Philip. It was our one of our technical leads for the web wallet, who sort of built the first version of our web wallet and browser extension. He's called Akush, but we call him Lucky.
Lucky?
Yeah.
Why do you call him Lucky?
Because that was his display name.
On Counter-Strike?
Yeah.
And you still call him Lucky?
A lot of the company calls him Lucky.
Cool. So last week, Solflare encountered a $1 billion hack. What are you going to do with the money?
Well, if that happened, I would probably be driving a Bugatti, not a Porsche.
Fair. Last question of the segment. I also heard you built CookieBet. Does that ring a bell?
Yes.
CookieBet, when you were in the university. That's a full online casino with provably fair games. Another genius invention of yours back then in your teenage years, I would say.
That was, I think, university years.
Yeah. Some people say the house always wins. So how did it feel to bankrupt your college colleagues, throw them in the rabbit hole of gambling?
The story was a bit different.
Okay.
Back in the day, there were a lot of Bitcoin gambling websites.
Okay.
I think essentially you could bet on a number below or above, and then you could think that you're smart and sort of employ a strategy where every time you lose a bet, you double and things like that, and then when you lose 10 times over, you lose all of your money. And there was this one website, I think it was called Prime Dice or something like that, that I was looking at. I found it fascinating. And what was very interesting for me was they had this like prove that we're not rigging the game. So they sort of showed like a chunk of code that you can run, making sure that every dice roll is actually authentic and that happened, that they didn't rig the bets.
Yeah.
And now sort of your framing of the story takes a bit of a different turn. I found this technology so fascinating that we built this for a university project, and that project never went live. It was just for grading purposes. We all got straight A's.
Really?
Yeah.
But you never deployed the actual code into a meaningful product that was used?
We did not, no.
Okay. All right. Moving forward on your career arc, before Solana, you were deep in multiple blockchains. That's probably where your GitHub bio comes from. You worked with Ethereum, you worked with Hyperledger, you worked on Cosmos, I think a lot on Cosmos as well. Probably Polkadot as well in your endeavors of exploring other L1s. You literally build blockchains or applications on blockchains for governments, for energy providers, for healthcare as well. So a lot of big topics. Now, today, you stopped building on all of these and you're just on Solana. Why?
It's a story. I think between 2016, when I first sort of discovered Ethereum, and sort of the years after that, where we've seen a lot of L1 blockchains emerging, there's been a sort of requirement to build stuff on platforms that are very unstable, that no one has built on before. And since we, and sort of my friends, core team back at the time, considers ourselves to be so good with technology, we've seen ourselves to being the right people to do that. So our sort of strategy back then was, okay, let's try being within the first 50 builders of any L1 blockchain ecosystem that came about. We joined, we sort of, in those like Discord servers, we found some of the early investors of those blockchains. They also always had ideas how they can, like what can be built on this blockchain that's substantially different than the other blockchain. And my team, we sort of acted as like a dev shop, like a really focused dev shop, made those dreams essentially come true. This started changing in 2020 because until between the 2016 and 2020, we gained a lot of experience of all the different trade-offs that are needed to be made for different blockchains to operate. But in 2020, it was the triangle, but in early 2020 or late 2019, we started looking into Solana. We've seen like that there's a bit of different model. There's some like different trade-offs being taken, and we sort of went straight into the Discord, looked at what developers are writing, what they're working on, and we obviously seen the need for like the first piece of infrastructure on Solana to be built. I think one of the first projects built on Solana was Solana Beach, the legendary blockchain explorer, and then we also built. I mean, I think even before that we built Solflare. Yes, Solana Beach came after. So.
After Solflare?
After Solflare.
But back then Solflare was Solflare, or?
So it was called Solflare, yes.
Okay. But there was no UI for it yet? Or did you immediately start with a UI?
No, so I think the idea back then was if you were sort of like a validator or you had some Solana tokens, there were no SPL tokens back in that time. You need to go to the CLI and like do some like random stuff.
Okay.
And then we very quickly decided to build something what was MyEther wallet for Ethereum for Solana. So like a web wallet that can generate your keys, you can upload your key store, it shows your balance, it allows you to like see a few of your last transactions, send some SOL, and then later we expanded that functionality with staking, with like, I don't know, signing messages, like managing SPL tokens.
You said as well before that, especially the parallel execution of Solana was something that you found very exciting for reasons. Now, for non-engineers, why is this meaningful at all on a user behavior, user experience level?
So it's totally not interesting for them. But they shouldn't really care, right?
Okay.
Do you really care when you're interacting with a website, like how much RAM that server has, or
no? But
how
I think
quickly that.
I mean, that's what I'm asking. Like, what comes after?
That's the sort of like those architecture decisions essentially led to Solana being so fast and so cheap. Okay. But there was a significant trade-off in the development experience. So when we started developing on Solana, we figured out, okay, we want to send these transactions, but we need to flag which sort of pieces of state we intend to read or which we intend to write. Which then sort of like made like a rollback in my head. It's like, wow, I learned this in university in our parallel programming course. And I was like, okay, they probably applied this logic. And the trade-off was that developers need to be smarter than like Ethereum developers in some way that where they need to sort of do much more sort of precise memory management. Think of it versus like combine like Java development compared to like C development. In C, you need to like allocate memory, like carefully use pointers, but in Java, it's just like do some whatever equals null, and as will the runtime will like deallocate all of the memory. So I saw some of that, and we also seen that the Solana founders and sort of like the Solana's core team back in the day had this amazing commercial business-oriented drive. And in all of the previous blockchain ecosystems we were building in, I almost felt like we were in a room with some like PhD scientists that always just like discuss standards. And Solana was more like, okay, let's like fucking build businesses here.
That explains a lot, doesn't it? I think around the same time back then, you also wrote a script that made you realize that around 75% of the total stake of Solana went through Solflare wallet.
Yeah.
Do you recall that moment?
So the story was interesting. We built Solflare in early 2020.
Yeah.
And we at the time, we sort of, despite us seeing like all of the like technical benefits of Solana, we didn't really think that there's a proper business around building a wallet. We were ignorant to that extent. And then some months passed. I think it was nearing like towards end of 2020. there's like 6, 7, 8, 9 months of Solflare web wallet existing. We didn't like do much updates to it because we built it and we're like, okay, let's figure it out. And then I was like, okay, let me try to sort of go back to Solana, run some scripts, see like, did this have any traction? And what I figured out by running the scripts is that 70% of all staked Solana was staked from the Solflare wallet.
Yeah.
Now you can ask yourself, okay, how did you figure this out? We made like a very early engineering decision that we want to like tag all the staking accounts with some like specific sequence numbers that no one else had at the time.
So you have an
and yeah, I
identifier.
just like wrote a script, okay, give me all the stake accounts that have format stake .x, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I figured out, I'm like, okay, wow, this is something that we have.
Feels like an insane amount of responsibility as well. Back then, like
Yeah.
so early.
It also feels like an insane. I mean, it did feel like
right? At that moment, I believe
yeah.
that you felt like that.
Yeah, but it did seem like an insane amount of responsibility, but at the same time, we consider ourselves like very security first, very conscious. And there wasn't like a grain of doubt that the software, the wallet we put out at the time was insecure.
Did that change after that moment though? Like did you, because now you're known for being security first, like Solflare always, favors that topic a lot. But did moments like this make Solflare basically today?
So the core team that built the first like version of Solflare, we were known to participate in a lot of the capture the flag competitions. So for all the viewers that don't know, like capture the flag competitions are these competitions where someone gives you like an interesting hacking or reverse engineering puzzle. And then you need to have like a deep understanding of the underlying technology for you to be able to like, decode it and solve it. And with this fundamental knowledge of how systems work, sort of you also build your security mindset. You know when you build something, okay, what's underneath and what could happen. And whenever we build something, we built it with that mindset. So, and I think like across the company culture, we kept that mindset. We don't have like a dedicated security team that deals with security. Security is a core part of every developer's role. Like if you build software that's going to be used by millions of users, handling billions of dollars, you better know how security works.
Especially as a non-custodial wallet, like it's your core business, but your core business as well as convenience and UX. You guys also excel at that. You actually called swap fees convenience fees before. I saw that somewhere. Like, sell me on that pitch. Like, why should I, as a consumer?
I can give you the best example.
Yeah.
In our company, we have one of the most insane power users of crypto that you can imagine.
Right.
And he probably has multiple hundreds of millions of dollars of net worth. And he was in crypto long before Solana came about. And he said, like, whenever I need to swap something on Ethereum, I don't go to Uniswap, I don't go to 1inch. It feels like a scam for me to need to connect the wallet, disconnect the wallet, think through the process of, okay, is the front end compromised? Are they gonna give me like a wrong transaction to sign? I just do swaps in MetaMask. And there's the same logic applied in Solflare. So there's like a lot of like scams out there, a lot of front ends, whatever front end that you do, where you do your swaps, like you type in the 3 letters.ag and then sort of might be compromised. But if you sort of like swap within Solflare, that's sort of like a sandbox that we fully control under our own like security principles. And it is convenient. You don't need to think about, okay, is this swap gonna am I gonna get hacked?
I think it was 2023 when you guys actually did a MetaMask integration.
Yes.
Remember that moment? You essentially let Ethereum users use Solana dApps without setting up a separate wallet. I think it was probably using MetaMask snaps back then, which was a thing. Last year, MetaMask natively integrated Solana. What else has MetaMask stolen from Solflare? Okay,
so back to square one. Beginning of 2023. This is long before this release. We were like, okay, Solana is like getting traction and all of these other wallets are massively missing out. Let's try to reach out to MetaMask and say, hey guys, let's do this. And they're like, yeah, we're building this like cool, and we sort of like made a pitch deck of the potential integration, how it would look like, how it would technically function. And they're like, yeah. We're building these like snaps, which are sort of like extension plugins for MetaMask, where you could in theory do this. And sort of like that vision persevered, and we used the snaps infrastructure to implement a way for any MetaMask user to be able to connect to Solana dApps. And that was sort of insane, because other wallets sort of took an alternative strategy. They took like, okay, I have this wallet, and I want to allow people holding EVM-based assets to sort of live in my wallet. And we thought differently. We were like, okay, let's bring MetaMask users. I think at the time they had like some crazy number, 12 million monthly active users, to Solana through Solflare. So we did all that hard work, and overall we onboarded more than 1 million users of MetaMask to Solana through Solflare. And that was like a pretty good case study. It was so good that MetaMask thought, okay, we should build this natively. And there are some things that I cannot talk about right now in that sort of like specific time period, but they essentially replaced what we did. And not only that, they also removed our Snap from the Snap directory because they wanted to take over that direct relationship with the user.
Yeah, it's business.
Well, call it business.
Now, Solflare Shield, another interesting innovation. This is more recent now. This has been released in 2025. You've talked about a future where seed phrases disappear and keys live in hardware. You talked about this, I think, much before, to like Saga time, when the Saga phone came out. So I assume that Solflare Shield is the logical result of that thought as well, where your private keys live in a hardware device. And how does it now actually work with the Shield? Because this is different from whatever we've seen out there. I've never seen a similar product. We only know ledgers and maybe phones, but not Shields. So what is the main difference here to these other products, and how does it actually work?
Solflare has integrated, I think, 2 or 3, depends how you count, hardware wallets.
We'll take a quick break from our sponsors. Just give me 2 minutes because we're not doing this for free here. So just gonna...
Yeah.
Someone was sending you messages there. You might check who that was.
You're gonna cut that out. You were saying?
So okay, Shield. We're crypto power users. Everyone within Solflare is essentially a crypto power user. Solflare has integrated multiple hardware wallets inside of it, support for it, whatever you mentioned. Yeah. And it put us in a sort of unique position for us to be the first line of every feedback related to hardware wallets. And then it sort of made us think about, okay, what's really the security model here? What do the other hardware wallets optimize for? And how can we make this a seamless experience? One of the wow factors that we, sort of the wow moments was when we figured out that like a physical card, like a card form factor that you sort of pay at the convenience store, it has a really sophisticated CPU processor chip inside of it that can essentially both securely generate keys and securely sign transactions on the card itself.
Crazy, right?
That's amazing. And then once we figured it out, we said, okay, let's try to make the best, most approachable, best user experience, most convenient hardware wallet. So we underwent this like huge process of like evaluating all of these like cards, going through like different certifications, figuring out what are their security, writing the software that actually signs these Solana transactions on side of the hardware, undergoing 3 security audits, and shipping the card. I would also add that because this is like a card, a hardware wallet, it still doesn't fully sort of separate you from the point of self-custody. You still need to be aware that these are some keys, and this is something that someone can sign a transaction with. And we have some other initiatives within Solflare where we are working on sort of like abstracting blockchains and abstracting passphrases. But our goal with Shield was to build a more approachable, better user experience hardware wallet than any other hardware wallet company out there.
What do you think is the biggest security risk of the Shield?
So depends how you look at it, because we did like a full sort of security model of, okay, if we were a hardware wallet company without a software wallet, how would we approach risk? Or we sort of had the benefit of already having a software wallet with massive distribution already out there, and we could build this hardware wallet product in line with our security model. So other hardware wallets consider all software that they're interacting with insecure. So that's why you have a screen, that's why you need to like verify everything 3 times. So they sort of they sort of think about this in a way where everyone's an attacker. But since we control both the software wallet and the hardware wallet, we can think of it as a more sort of like a complementary solution, that it works seamlessly together. And that's why sort of the absence of a screen is justified.
The Solflare Shield is not the only physical card you guys have now.
Correct.
There's also the Solflare Mastercard.
Yes.
Which came shortly after the Shield, I think.
A bit, I think, a
Around
quarter before, yeah.
A quarter before. So it's been around since a while now. It is a crypto card that can't lock your money, obviously, because you're spending right off your software wallet.
Yeah.
It's non-custodial. I think that's probably the biggest tagline here. Why do you hate Visa so much?
Mastercard is cooler.
Cool.
We don't hate Visa, but Mastercard is more cool.
Yeah, legit answer. And why is the Solflare card itself such a big deal? Is it the non-custodial effect?
So yes, there's a few things here. Obviously, it's self-custodial, so you don't need to like top up some random account for you to spend that money. And even if you sort of hold like a big chunk of money on this account where you spend from, if I like in like unthinkable circumstances, our sort of card program and everything goes down, you still retain self-custody where you can just like take your seed phrase, put it into another wallet and sort of like have access to the money, which is unlike any of the other crypto cards out there. Because you top up money there, if they go down, your money is locked with them, and like good luck getting it back. We've seen stories where people don't even get it back or need to go through like complex like legal processes to get it back.
No, I mean, I love that.
Also, there's a few more things where that we recently released, and that's not only like spending your USDC, you can spend any SPL token that you choose, and you can even put an order, okay, if I don't have any USDC, spend some of my bonk or any other crypto that you want spending. But it's not only that, because we control the whole self-custodial part, we can natively integrate DeFi protocols. So think about like you have like a big bag of SOL, like let's say you have a few 100,000, whatever SOL that you don't want to spend. You can deposit this into the Solflare card, and whenever you swipe your card to spend something, it borrows money against that deposited collateral. If SOL goes up, you maybe sell a small chunk of it, repay the loan, get your SOL back. So essentially, because we control the whole like on-chain part, we have the opportunity to do like so many different things that no other crypto card is able to do.
That last bit is not live yet.
We announced it at Accelerate Hong Kong. It's going to be live very quickly.
Okay, so right now it's not in the wallet yet, but it will be. It will be out probably in weeks.
Rollout, yeah.
That is actually cool. It's almost like a credit card.
It's almost like a credit card.
But it's still a physical debit card, is it?
It's a physical debit card. Apple Pay, like Google Pay is alive. Google Pay is live. Yeah. Apple Pay is coming in a few weeks.
I'd love to use that card. When are you finally going to fix my bug that I have in my Solflare?
Which bug do you have in your Solflare?
Everyone in your team knows about it, but no one helps me.
Tell me.
I click the card icon and it says error. I can show you. There's people that want to spend money.
Do you know why? Because we run AML checks, and you're probably like a politically exposed person, and that's why per our legal framework, we need to block you from using the card. Maybe you're a terrorist. I don't know.
I just wanted to say I did play Counter-Strike.
Yeah. We had a very
dashboard.
Yeah, maybe you're a terrorist. We had a funny story. You probably remember the big incident revolving the Libra coin.
Yeah.
And do you remember how it sort of panned out, how it came to the public? Like who made it public and everything, how that went about?
Yeah, like Solana people, companies?
Yeah. Solana people, companies sort of like told the truth on Twitter. And interestingly, some of those users that were participating in exposing what happened in the Libra insider thing applied for our cards, and we obviously need to do like thorough screening of those people, and they sort of flagged for like publicly exposed persons, and then they needed to justify some of their steps. Yeah.
The people that exposed the scam.
Yeah.
Not the scammers.
Yeah, because sometimes people who expose are the scammers themselves, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Spicy. You are very known for having a pretty cracked team at Solflare, especially the engineers. For the teams that aspire to reach the same level of autism as Solflare, what percentage of their team needs to be retarded?
100%.
Good.
Yeah.
So you guys have a lot of neurodivergent people in the team.
Yeah, we're all about inclusivity.
That's great.
Yeah.
Talking about inclusivity and being nice to your people around you, this might seem a bit off topic, but was Nikola Tesla Serbian or Croatian?
Yeah. So the politically correct answer is that his father was a Serbian priest, but he was born in a region that was considered Croatia at the time, but I think all that is null and void because he spent most of his life in America. He probably considered himself as American, and I would like to not get canceled because of this answer.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna cut it. However.
No, we're not cutting it.
So I found this tweet of you from like some time ago. It says Serbia invented blockchain in 1987. This is documented. I will not be taking questions. Do you want to explain the tweet?
Yeah, it's a fake screenshot because it has 2.8 million views, and I never had 2.8 million views in a tweet. You know, like in blockchain, we have this principle, verify, don't trust. So I would call our viewers to verify, not trust.
Got it.
Type in Vidor _ Solflare 1987, and if that tweet shows up, he was right, and if not, I was right.
I also found this other tweet from you that you posted recently as well. It says, tried Phantom today. UI is actually clean. Might switch. Do you want to comment on that one?
So, UI actually clean, that's a true statement. Might switch is a false statement. I mean, look,
yeah,
they're doing a good job.
Okay.
We're doing a good job.
I see.
We're competing for a similar market. They have their own twist. We have our own twist. I would say that between of us, we're friendly.
Quick game.
My PR agency is so proud of me right now. It's like
I have
all PR training is kicking in, you know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I have a quick game now. I say a word, and the first word that comes to your mind is what you're gonna say. Okay, quick fire. One word, okay? Jupiter.
Melania.
Phantom.
Brandon.
Backpack.
Armani.
Gucci.
Gucci.
Toli. Mert.
Helios.
Vibu.
Well, I'm just gonna keep naming companies that these people either work at or
the first
founded.
word that comes to mind. Yeah, that's fine.
Vibu, compressed NFTs.
Cool. Frank Boccia.
He's my favorite person from New York.
That's more than one word, though.
Favorite.
Okay. Vitalik.
Autism.
We should hire him. Ledger.
French.
Simon.
Says.
Fair. Now, Vidor, coming to an end here, I have one more question. You donated 45,000 Serbian dinars to charity in 2021. Do you remember that moment? 45,000 to a charity.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that?
I do a lot more, but it's probably not
That was
documented.
about $20. That is very generous of you. Do you plan on donating again?
I donate, but I don't talk about it.
Last question.
Where did you find that fact?
Last question. No,
We donated hundreds of thousands of dollars.
you don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about it.
When people hear your name, Vidor Andrea Genza, what do you want them to think of when they hear Vidor? What do you want to be remembered for?
Yeah. So we had this discussion recently within the team, and I think our goal here is to have a solid attempt at building some sort of legacy. And if someone were to talk about me in that regards, tens of years in the future, I would like to be the guy who sort of, the kid that reshaped finance.
Cool. That makes sense. What are the next moves for Vidor and Solflare?
We have a lot of moves. We're releasing a lot of stuff. We're shipping a lot of stuff. We have a lot of people. So like, it's crazy. Sometimes it's even hard to keep track.
Vidor, this has been a pleasure. Thanks for coming and joining us today. So I hope you had a good time with us as well. And just please, could you just clean this for me?
Yeah,
Danke.
sure.